We are now talking to former Commanders and Vikings cornerback Fred Smoot. Fred, what's up, man?
Good, brother. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. You look good. You look healthy.
Hey, let me ask you this. Like, we always say that when we see somebody that we haven't saw in a long time. Would you see somebody and be like, oh, my God, you look awful. You look terrible. You look like a dead guy.
Well, you obviously have never heard our show because I've done it before. We've had ex-athletes on our show, and we've had them a couple of times. And they come on the show. They love coming on the show. And the next time I see them, I'm like, man, you don't look very happy. Or you look good.
You don't look healthy, brother. What's going on?
We also used to have a co-host that used to sit next to me. We always made fun of his hairline all the time, too.
well, the one thing that men really can't take, and I got a lot of homeboys that lost their hair, and they just cannot take it. Men cannot take the hair loss. If you can come up with something to grow men back hair, it's $1 billion business.
Well, I'll show you something. I am 40 years old this year. Look at this hair. Look at his hair, man.
Oh, now listen. You can do a Head and Shoulders commercial right now.
Well, if they want
to
move over
Troy Polamalu.
Well, Troy he's still making money in Head and Shoulders, man.
Yeah, Troy Polamalu all day long.
Yeah. First of all, Troy is awesome. He's got a great personality. I'm sure you played against him, so you know all about his crazy.
Great guy, great energy, just great human being. That's what I tell people all the time, man. When you meet some of these players, they are better human beings than they ever were a football player.
and that's the great thing. When we speak to guys like Taba Ali, and Taba Ali is living at large, man. He's a hip hop artist now. He's trying to get his career to that next level in that particular, I guess you could say career. And then you saw what he did in the NFL, as great of a pass rusher he was, 89 sacks, and he's a borderline Hall of Famer. He really is. And then you see how he transformed his life after walking away from football, because you live, sleep, smell, and everything when it comes to football when you're playing on the field. And then once it's over, it's gone. And then you're like, where am I going next? What am I going to do? So it's crazy when we talk to when we speak to all these different athletes and we see where they have gone after their careers. It's crazy. It really is.
Well, I tell people all the time, just because you're great at something don't mean you got other loves. Like, once you meet people and be in the locker room, you'll be shocked at how many of these guys are poets, doctors, they just happen to be 6'6", 320 pounds. All right, so guess what? I'm going to take the route of least resistance so they play football. But other than that, they have a lot of a plethora of things. My guy, Bernie Davis, he's acting now. He's working on his 6th movie. So at the end of the day, guys transition to other loves. You can love more than one thing, all right? You can.
As everybody knows, we are talking to former Commanders and Vikings cornerback Fred Smoot. So, Fred, why don't we get into your career? And you had a pretty good career. You were in the league for a very, very long time. Anybody that plays in the league over 4 years, an average NFL player plays 3 to 4 years. You played a lot longer than that.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it because the great thing that I never did, I never let Fred Smoot, the football player, be bigger than Fred Smoot, the person. I always kept them one and one. I kept them simultaneously growing at the same time. So when it was time for me to walk away from sports, and this is the thing about it, we never walk away from sports. Sports walks away from us. All right? You wake up one day and your body says no and your mind says yes. So that's when the divorce process starts. Now, here go the thing about it. You're talking about divorcing something that's been a part of your life since you were 4 or 5 years old. All right? Not only have you been defined by that football have shown you different countries, different worlds, different lifestyles, different everything. So sometime after football, it's hard for guys to redefine themselves, make themselves something else without that brown football. But I cherish in that because I'm more than just a football player, and I always live like that.
So my question is, you grew up playing football with high school football, college football. Like, how did you get into it as a sport? And were there any other sports you got into like over time?
Oh, I played basketball. You got to realize when all my time in the league, I was built like a basketball player. I was 180 pounds, 6 feet tall, skinny. I always played basketball. I played a little baseball. Track was always my thing. I love track, love running track. But guess what, fellas? I'm going pro again, and I'm going pro in bowling. I am a hell of a bowler. And it's about time that pro bowling had that 5-star athlete that they could say, it's about time they had a LeBron, Michael Jordan. No disconnect to Williams and all the rest of the guys that's doing their thing. But it's time for that elite athlete with a 6-pack to be the bowling champion. And that is me, Fredless Targaryen. That's me.
A Fredless Targaryen. I like that.
Yeah. I'm a big Game of Thrones fan. I love Game of Thrones, love House of Dragon, love it all.
Oh, I love it too, man. I didn't watch the Game of Thrones really for like 8 years after it, and then I watched every single season. I just got addicted to it. And then I had the House of the Dragons, and I watched every single episode every week, and I can't get enough of it. That's why you have to wait another like almost a year to see the new episodes. It's horrible.
I've been trapped in Westeros for like 15 years. All right, I've been living in a place where different things happen, and marrying your cousin or your auntie is no problem. But so I've always enjoyed it as a whole. And then to top it off, the David Chappelle skit on Saturday Night Live just really did it for me.
If you were to pick a character that reminds you of you from any of those shows, which one would it be?
Oh, great question. I guess it'll be old Fred Snow, old Jon Snow.
I knew you. I knew you.
Everybody gonna be Jon. I'm the bastard from the South, so I'll be good that lives in the North. So I'm fine with that.
It's actually funny. About a month ago on the show, we had former Jaguars offensive lineman Uche Nwaneri on the show, and he was at the end of the interview. He was mentioning, I got to go watch Game of Thrones,
the House of the Dragon.
House of the Dragon. Yeah, he mentioned it right at the end.
And I watched that episode. He says, "Don't tell me what happens.
Right,
I don't want to know what happens.
Yeah, don't spoil it for me and my wife." Is what he was saying the whole time.
Oh no, it's the best. It's the best, and like you said, I cannot wait on next season because it's gonna be a war.
Oh yeah, it's definitely an addiction. Once you get, it's like a drug, okay, or a certain drink that you like. Once you taste it, you want more of it.
Well, plus I was a Viking. My homeboy called me, and he always sent me, how your homeboys always ragging at you. So he gave me the name Fredless Valerian. He called me the sea snake because of what happened at the Vikings.
Which teammate did that? Which teammate did that?
Well, when I was with the Viking, he was talking about the love boat. That's why he called me the sea snake.
Okay.
As everybody knows, we are talking to former Commanders and Vikings cornerback Fred Smoot. Now, let's get into the Vikings because the Vikings are playing great football right now. They came up with that win last week against Buffalo, and it really has a lot to do with Jefferson. I think they really force-feed Jefferson a lot on the field. They have other great weapons like Cook and then Thielen. Thielen hasn't had the season I thought he was going to have after drafting him on almost every single one of my fantasy teams. But Jefferson's he really is a special player. What are your thoughts to really the growth of this team with a new coach and really just a new mindset this year?
Well, I think Coach McConnell unlocked the offensive priorities of this team. I thought, having a defensive coach sometimes, defensive coaches can be, let's run the ball and play good defense, which the mindset of a defense coach, I think McConnell comes up and say, let's be dynamic, and that's what they are. And you just said it. Dalvin Cook, one of the best running backs in the league. Justin Jefferson, one of the best, if not the top 3 wide receivers in the league. You got T.J. Hawkinson, who nobody is talking about, who watch career flourish. Since he's been there 2 games, he's caught 17 passes already. All right, doubling what he caught in Detroit. Adam Thielen, of course, he's getting a little long in the tooth now. Jefferson getting all the love, and maybe he got a little fat rash disease mixed up in that, but I don't know. But he's still a legit number 2. So offensively wise, they are a very dangerous team, and they can play defense. The only question most people have when it comes to the Vikings is Kirk Cousins. Is he going to be there when you need him to be there?
Mm-hmm. So I want to go to the other team, the Washington Commanders you played for, because you were celebrating their undefeated season spoiling of the Philadelphia Eagles. So what has been your impression of them this season, especially in that game?
Well, I love it. Every time they take a trip to Pennsylvania with undefeated teams, we beat the Steelers 2 years ago when they was 11-0. Right. Then we come back and beat Philadelphia. Ain't nothing like ruining an NFC East rivals. Good time in the sunshine, especially Philadelphia. If y'all don't know, if Philadelphia fans are the worst fans in the NFL, you cannot tell them anything about the Philadelphia Eagles. They like to say fly, Eagles fly. I love saying cry, Eagles cry, because they cried the other day, and I like to give them a shout out because they are the only city in America that has a statue of a dude that doesn't exist. Rocky is not a real guy. So all I can say is this. I thought the guys went up there, and I thought they literally forced their will upon the Philadelphia Eagles, dominated them, 23 first downs, had the ball 40 minutes, ran the ball down their throat. So at the end of the day, no, they showed that we can go out there and we can win in a dirty football game.